Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel for another vlog. This vlog, I'm really excited. I am stoked because we are going to be testing out the vlogging capability of my brand new camera, the Sony ZV-E10. So I recently purchased a new camera because I gotta be real honest with y'all guys, I hated my other camera. Specifically because they didn't have a microphone port. So a lot of newer cameras have like a microphone port on the side and you can plug in your preferred microphone. And from there, it'll have a better audio. But what I had to do, literally, and the other camera was a G7X Mark II, and that camera didn't have a microphone port and the mic quality on that camera was atrocious. It would pick up literally every sound. Like my phone camera is better than that. My phone audio camera. Okay, so I hated it. I sold it and I got myself a brand new camera. And girl math, I'm not saying I saved a lot of money, but I saved a lot of money selling the old one and upgrading to this brand new camera. And while we're at it, I am going to be doing a little unboxing of some accessories I purchased for this camera, since it's a brand new camera and I don't know, it's a brand new camera, and so I want new accessories to go along with it. And also I just wanted to share with you guys what kind of stuff I use for recording. So I'm currently filming on my Samsung Z Flip 5, and I specifically purchased the Z Flip 5 because of its camera capability and the fact that you can see yourself while filming with your back camera. That is the number one thing for me. Yeah, and then let's talk. I have been so lazy. I need to upload a video. It has been almost 2 weeks since my last video on my channel, and so yeah, and then on top of that, I was making some money moves with my camera. I sold my old camera, and then with the new money, I was debating between all the different options. So I was originally going to go with either the DJI Pocket 3 or the Sony ZV-E10. And then the ZV-E10 actually has two models. There is a Mark 1 and a Mark 2. I purchased Mark 1, which is the 2024 version. So there's like slight differences between the two, but for my own personal use case, it just didn't seem like I needed a Mark 2, especially since I think the biggest difference is the 10-bit color and then filming on 4K with 60 FPS. And because most of my videos are sit-down videos, I don't think I need 4K at 60 FPS. I do know that the big thing about this camera is that the image stabilization is kind of rough because there's no internal mechanism. But again, sit-down video. I think another big difference between the Mark 2 and the Mark 1 is that the sit-down videos, the motion videos are a lot better. They have newer software to do some image stabilization. But again, I'm a sit-down girly. Yeah, so in addition to getting a new camera, I got some new equipment for my camera. So we have the camera, and right now I have 3 different tripods. So I have this really tiny tripod here, which just helps me hold the camera when I'm moving around, I think, but it's really close up to my face. Like, it just helps me hold it, right? Then I have a slightly taller camera, tripod, that can hook onto things and you can bend it. And I actually don't like this one that much because if you just want to do a sit-down video and you just want to set it down, like I can't set it down like this. I have to maneuver it into a specific form, and this is just whatever to me. So, and then in addition to that, we have this long mic stand. I'm literally saying every single word possible aside from a tripod. And then I have another tripod set up over here. So a bigger one, a longer one that can go higher and lower, much higher and lower than this one. The first thing I got is a brand new SD card. This one is 256 gigabyte. This is gonna be more of a techish portion of the vlog. So if you guys don't care about tech specs and all that good stuff, you can skip ahead. If you're curious to see what a small YouTuber, booktuber who just spent money to upgrade her setup is like, stick around and then I can explain my thought process. So if you are looking to upgrade your setup, you can be aware of the little details and the little information and tidbits. So the Sony ZV-E10, this model specifically films at the best rate being 4K at 30 FPS. Now, when you film at such a high volume, like the amount of data that needs to be pulled, it needs to write really fast. So if the SD card does not write fast enough, you will lose frames. So frames will drop. You'll see like a motion blur when you're rewatching the video, and if you're wondering why, it might be because your SD card isn't writing fast enough. So the Gigabyte 256 is just how much storage it could keep. And right now I have a 64 gigabyte SD card in here at the same specs as this, and it can hold up to about an hour worth of footage. So 256, I think that's 4 times. Is it 4? Yeah, I think it's like 4 times. So I'm assuming I'll get for about 4 hours with this SD card. Now, specifically if you're filming on 4K, you want to look for a V30. So, I don't know if you guys can see. I specifically got V30, and you don't need to get SanDisk. There's like Lexar, and there's like a couple of other ones. I just went for this because it was the cheapest one, and V30 will assure that you can film all your rates, gather all the data will write into the card at a fast enough speed so you don't lose your frames. Maybe I'll insert a chart somewhere on the screen so you guys can kind of see what it means between all the different Vs. There's like V10, V30, V60, and V90. And V90 is like top of the line. Those people are shooting in like 4K 120. That's not my use case, so I got this. I have a bunch of SD cards. And the reason why I had to buy another SD card, because initially I was filming in HD, in full HD, which is 180p at 60 frames per second, and that only needed a V10. And when I was messing around with the camera, I had a 126 gigabyte, 124 gigabyte, 120 something gigabyte, and it was just not working. It just didn't work. So had to do an upgrade, and I just picked this one up. Yeah, that was a lot of tech talk. Hopefully you guys kind of get an understanding of like which SD card will work for your camera. And let's move on to the next item I purchased. What did I purchase? Oh, okay. In addition to that, I purchased some extra batteries for my camera because as of right now, I don't know where I'm gonna be filming with it, but I always like to have a couple of batteries on hand as I'm traveling and as I'm going around. So I did pick up a pack of batteries. This is from NEEWER. Usually I do purchase my batteries from NEEWER. It's a brand that I am familiar with, and I just picked up 2 extra batteries on top of the battery that came with the camera. And let me show y'all. I don't even know if y'all really care about these things, but we are showing you all. And so you guys can also know that like if you run out of battery often and you're just like, man, I want to film this video, and then my video takes like 2 hours. Like my videos take 2 hours to film. And then you're like, but I have to wait in between to charge for your battery. Of course not. 90% of the time you can just buy knockoff batteries. So in my case, I did not go with the Sony brand and saved myself a couple of dollars. I'm really struggling to open this. Hello? Okay, I got it. And I saved myself a couple of dollars by buying like a different brand. I think this was like $20. And I purchased the ones that came with 2 more batteries on top of the batteries that it came with. And then what I really like about this one is the charging station. So it comes with a little charging station because as of right now, I think Sony doesn't have like a charging dock. So you just plug in a USB-C port into an outlet and then it charges through the camera through that way. I don't want to do that. So I got a little charging port along with it. And that is the second accessory that is a must-have for me as a small booktuber. Okay, yeah, in a very similar line as the battery, I feel like most people don't know about this, but you can purchase dead batteries. So I know it sounds really weird, dead batteries, but what they do is that you can keep this battery plugged in and your camera will run nonstop. It is going to stay fully charged the whole time. If I recall correctly, dead battery is the correct terminology, but who knows? Maybe I'm making things up. There's a lot of extra stuff in here. There's a little package. Okay, so what I mean by this, so this is the battery that it comes with. Yeah, and these are kind of the battery that you would plug into your camera. So this is a fully charged battery. Once you fully charge it, you can use it up until it's empty. However, this one is empty. It's actually very light. But what it does is that there's a cord, and you just connect this cord into an outlet, and there's just a stream of current. So that way, your camera stays fully charged, especially for sit-down videos where you're sitting for 4 hours straight. I recommend this one. It also produces less heat. So if you're filming on 4K, which I know is a problem for the ZV-E10, is that it overheats a lot and it will end up shutting down. A couple tips that I read is just one, to use a dead battery, and then you can kind of leave the outlet or where the battery exists open so the heat can also escape that way. The second one is to just flip the viewfinder out, and those are the two that you can kind of keep the heat to be lower. And then there's also a setting that you can turn on where it allows for high battery power usage. But again, if you're filming long form content, that battery is what I highly recommend you go get, so that you don't have to just end up swapping out your batteries. That's what I did with my Canon G7X Mark, and it works perfectly fine. Disclaimer. So if you use batteries that are not specifically Sony, technically it voids your warranty if they identify it. So some batteries, when you plug in, they'll be like, hey, this doesn't look like a genuine battery, right? And then I think technically it could void your warranty. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I just wanted to put the disclaimer. Like, this really won't affect your thing whatsoever. I'm just telling you that so that you guys can be an informed booktuber, informed videographer. I don't know. And then the second to last thing I purchased is a new tripod. So this is going to be the middleman tripod between, so what was it? So I have this tiny one that just helps me hold the camera, and then I have this one which I personally just don't like because I can't just set it down. It doesn't, like, if I wanted to set it down, it just tips over unless I have to like maneuver it, and I just didn't like it. So I'm gonna take a sip of my boba. I'm tired. I'm talking. I don't know how long I've been talking for. 16 minutes. It's not that bad. So I did get another tripod, and this one specifically is so that I can vlog on the go. And we have, it is the M16 Ulanzi. I have a couple of Ulanzi products. I think the tripod that this is on is also like a larger version of this, but this is just basically what I found that most YouTubers use, and it's sturdy. It's small and compact enough, and it's also light. So it's the in-between from like the really big tripods that you would put around your house for a lot of different angles, but it's bigger than this one so that you can get a wider angle when you film. Because another big thing about this camera is that if you do the default lens, because this, you can pop out this lens and you can go for like a wide lens angle, which is generally bigger. What was I saying with that? So you can swap out the lens, but this default lens that it comes with is kind of small. So when you do like a regular vlogging setup, like right around here, you don't get as much of the background. So I bought basically an extension to my arm. So I'm just putting the camera a little bit farther away so that it can get more of the background if that's what I want. If I don't really care about that, I'll just use this tiny little tripod. Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking you guys through like my thought process and everything about picking a camera, but I'm hoping it's informative for anyone who just are looking to buy a camera and you're kind of like just in the kind of like the same level of knowledge as me. However, I have no clue about anything when it comes to cameras. I am a certified yapper. I'm like yapping about so many different things. I don't know. Yeah, so okay, this one's actually a lot lighter than the tripod that I have here, but the reason I purchased it is because it was able to extend out to this far, and you can just tilt the camera like so, or tilt the little knob, right? So what I can do, so I can do that, I tighten it, and then I can put my camera on top. Okay, this is not as easy as it looks. Make sure it's screwed in super tight. And it just gives me like a little bit of an extra room, like distance from me and the camera. Wow, I'm weak. This is so heavy. But you know, that's kind of what I mean. And then it also comes with a little hot shoe. I don't know, cold shoe. It's just a shoe where you can actually attach things like lights or a microphone onto it. So this was my second purchase. This is probably gonna be my on-the-go tripod for sure. So it extends about this much. It's just enough to kind of take pictures and vlog. But the final reason for this tripod is that it's the perfect height for streaming, for a camera to be in my face. And one of the reasons why I picked the Sony series over the DJI is the fact that you can just plug this into your computer and use it as a webcam. And for someone who's currently interviewing for a job, having a better camera is definitely a bonus. But also, if I want to get into, maybe if I do reading sprints, productivity sprints, or maybe if I just want to start going back into my Twitch era and Twitch stream some of my games, I have a camera that could do the same thing as a webcam. And my webcam, y'all, that thing is like more than a decade old. It was with me since college, and college is like a decade ago. So really excited to have this brand new tripod to carry around with me. And otherwise I could just have it like kind of small. It is heavier than this one, though I think most of the heaviness comes from the camera itself. Like the camera is just heavy in general. So that is one of the other things that I picked out for my camera. We have a mess of a pile on my couch, but that's okay. We have one last item, and then we're gonna close out the tech portion of this video. The very last thing I purchased is a microphone. Y'all, my story with the microphone has been a journey. Just let me tell you that much, okay? So I already talked about how my original camera, which was the Canon G7X Mark II, that microphone will pick up literally anything and everything. It picks up everything. And I can't even have like my air purifier run in the background of my reading vlog. There would just be a constant noise of like a hum. And when I do my vlog, that annoyed me so much. So much. You guys don't understand. And I try to do post-editing, like do some post-audio editing to optimize it. And it's still like, it's like an extra step that I have to do. And then when I still film my sit-down video, I have been using like just a lav mic that I found on the interwebs somewhere. Where is it? This lav mic that I found on the interwebs. And because that camera didn't have a audio port, I literally have to plug this into my computer, clip this on, and record it on my computer. And then when I went into the actual editing process, I would have to put the audio together. So I have to line them up. So what I'll end up usually doing is clapping 3 times to sync up the audio. But it's just the little extra steps that make the whole process so much more annoying and tedious that I was just like, no, I'm done. And I was just lucky that I think right now the G7X is a very popular camera. A lot of people want their hands on it, so I was able to resell it at a pretty good price and buy myself a brand new camera with it. And one thing I was like, the number one thing I'm gonna get when I get this new camera is a microphone that I could just plug right into the port and use it right off the bat, because I am tired of syncing up my audio. And the lav mics that I bought weren't good either. Like these are just kind of very low quality mics in my opinion, and I went through 2 variations of it. I purchased another one which you can hear in some of my older videos, like the microphone sound in the older videos were so scuffed and it would peak so often. I would put the audiobook. These one are like a higher variant, higher quality variant of it, but still I don't think these are the best. They're definitely good for the price in my opinion, and I think I'm gonna use it when I use it for my phone. The downside for this is that when you're looking for microphones, some of the things you need to keep an eye out is like the recording capabilities. Like some microphones such as the DJI allow you to record right into this, so you don't need to plug it into like an additional device to record it. And this one is mainly used for cameras or ports with USB-C and the, what other port? The lightning cable port for Apple. So this one doesn't work right off the bat with the computer or with the audio jack hole for this camera. Like this camera has a audio port and it's a circle. It's an aux, right? So it won't work off the bat with this one. So that's my biggest regret when I purchased this. But I still think this was a pretty good microphone, all things considering. The first lav mic I got, it was like $8 on Amazon, and it was terrible. It picked up everything, and I move around, I talk a lot, I have hair everywhere, so it would rub up on the mic, and sometimes it would create these staticky noise. I hate that. This one was a little bit better, but it's still not perfect. So I'm upgrading, and the microphone that I picked is the Deity V-Mic D4 Mini. And this mic will just live on top of this microphone, and as I record, as I talk, it'll just pick up the sound from this direction. So why didn't I get like a DJI mic, something to clip on? I thought about it, I really did, but I was just like, I talk and I move around so much, right? I'm just like, so clip-on mics are not the best for me. Like genuinely, clip-on mics, you'll hear a lot of movement with it because I'm moving around, I talk with my hands, and sometimes I'll brush up on it. So I thought that this mic would be the best, and I couldn't use this kind of mic previously because my computer, when I film, I'm filming over here or like over there, and my computer is like a good 6 feet away. I don't know, 6 feet is not correct. 6 feet? No, I think 6 feet is correct. If my husband laid on the floor, I think it's approximately 6 feet, or maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, so that's why I didn't have like an actual mic that I can talk to, and I could just place it in one direction and I could talk to it. But now I can, and I can just have it right on top of this camera, which I'm really excited about. I think in the future I will buy a clip-on mic, but I think right now for my purposes, especially for just sit-down videos, for majority of my videos, I don't need it. I don't need to go do that. I think these kind of mic works best for me, and I picked between this and the Rode mini microphone. Yeah, the Rode microphone, and I picked this one because it was cheaper. And the special thing about this is that it has, I want to fluff this up a little bit, it has a secondary port so that if I want to have like an additional microphone on top of this, I can just plug it in. Oh, here we go. It has an output, so I can actually add another microphone on top of this if I wanted to. For now, I don't think I do. I think this works fine as it is right now. This is what the base kind of looks like. It's kind of flimsy, or I guess it's not flimsy. It's kind of like this. And the reason why I picked this mostly is because of the ability to just use it on the go instead of just, you know, having to clip on my mic, making sure that everything's in order, and also it just mounts up a lot easier. All right. Yeah, I think this takes about the portion of the tech of all the new and cool things I purchased pretty recently. I'm pretty excited with all the stuff that I got. The biggest thing for me is that it has a shoe mount. So y'all don't know what a shoe mount is. It is this. Okay. Pop it up. Oh. So this is a shoe mount, and you can just put stuff up there. So in my case, I could put this, where did I put the microphone? I could put the microphone directly on it because it has a little hook as well. So I could just put it, and now I have a little microphone at the top. So it's just the little things that makes this camera just so much better than the G7X for vlogging content. I know that right now it's trending because of its photography thing, and I don't know, I'm not a photographer. I can't say for sure how I feel about it, but I think both do the same job for me, and it is an upgrade. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tech talk session. If you guys were ever curious as to what products I use, now you know. Okay, I am really trying to get the foam out. I don't want the foam. Like, I hate the foam, so I'm trying to pull out the foam for this. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off this camera and then I'm gonna set up my new camera and see how the mic and everything works, and I will catch you guys in the next clip.